Back for episode 63 of Alternative Fact Chicago. I felt like we just left an episode because we just did. I swear these weeks blend in and time goes so fast. It's been a crazy, crazy year. But we're back for episode 63. This is B-Hun. Homie Kate's right here.
Hi.
How are you?
Great. Happy Wednesday.
Happy Wednesday.
Hump day.
It's always a hump day, getting over the hump. Quick shout out to my brother Ben, who's listening to this episode. It's his birthday today. Got a great family. The Hunter family is the shit. So happy birthday, Ben. We love you. Have a great birthday and enjoy. So we're going to get this kicked off. We got lots to do, lots to discuss today. But first, you want to plug our social media?
Yeah, absolutely. Check us out on Facebook, Alternative Fact Chicago. Same thing on Instagram. And then on Twitter, it's A Fact Chicago. You can find me on Instagram at Kate. That's C-A-I-T, no Jenner. Also on Twitter as Kate Hassett.
Mine is Bhun1984, B-H-U-N 1984. That's on Twitter as well as Instagram. Our social media has been growing quite a bit over the last few weeks, which is great to see. Our spins have been increasing over the last. I was talking to Kate earlier. I was texting her, like, what the hell's going on? I was like, what is going on? Like, our spins are increasing. I was like, is this something you're doing or what? But
it's magic.
It is magic.
Yeah.
So the momentum's going well. We appreciate you all for supporting Alternative Fact Chicago. You can email us at alternativefactchicago@gmail.com for any sponsorship ideas, show ideas, or anything else that you want to know. We're any and everywhere and always ready to.
Or relationship advice. What happened to the relationship
We got to
advice?
get back into that. I know we've been very busy with like guests. Obviously, we did the Women's March Chicago last week.
Yeah. I need to hear Bhun's relationship advice because he says he can give it. So I need somebody to write in and ask him a question I can hear it.
If I follow my own advice, I'd be like the best relationship person of all time. I give great advice.
Right. You say this every week. I need to hear it.
Okay. So what we're going to do for episode 64, you hear here on Wax, we're going to do a relationship advice section. So please email us questions. You can tweet us questions, DM us, whatever you want to do. But we're definitely going to get to that next week.
Agreed.
Finally, since you want to hear my relationship advice.
So badly.
Awesome. Quick reminder, too, on Sunday, December 2nd at 7:30 at Chicago Theater Works, Alternative Fact Chicago will be returning to the Chicago Podcast Festival. So shout out Liz, shout out Kelly for inviting us once again. We're going to be sharing the stage with Southside Heat Podcast. That is Antoine Walker. He's an NBA champion, former NBA All-Star from Chicago. He has a great podcast with the co-host up there. So we're going to be sharing the stage. We're going to be doing, I think, half of a set each. I think 45 minutes or so each. So great live show. If you've never been to a live podcast, they are lots of fun. Tickets are on sale. That is $14. We have posted on social media, but of course we will be posting it throughout social media over the next few weeks. Want to give you guys around a 6-week heads up advance notice. So the Chicago Podcast Festival, there'll be other shows, other lineups for different days throughout. I think it's like a week or so of just different shows and live podcasts in the city. So great events. Can't wait to be part of it. December 2nd, 7:30, Chicago Theater Works. Make sure you come out and support.
Word.
Can't wait. Oh, I think we're going to come up with something. We may need to find, I think, like maybe one guest to help for the show. We're going to look into that, but I think it'll be cool.
Okay.
So if you think of anyone, make sure to let me know.
Oh.
And I'll brainstorm as well too.
Okay.
Awesome.
Anyway. I feel like these are like off-air notes right now. You're just like telling everybody, but that's cool. Yeah, that's cool.
You're on one today. It's okay. I like to be transparent with our listeners, so
okay, cool.
It's all good. So this past weekend, obviously, we had Women's March Chicago. First of all, I want to thank Jondelyn, who joined episode 62 last week. She did a great job. I do want to apologize. We did have some minor audio issues. It happens. It won't happen again, but things happen. It's life. We keep on and move forward. But regards to that, Jondelyn did a great job. She was very informative, and we had Women's March Chicago, the Women's March, the rally to the polls this past weekend. Kate was there.
Yeah.
We saw her pictures, videos. Looks like a great time.
Yeah.
Give us a recap on the event.
Just super powerful movement, obviously sponsored or, started by the Women's March in Chicago. But it was really just for like voter registration. People were out there just absolutely candidly talking about their issues, what's top of mind. And, there were Trump supporters, there were Trump haters, there were people voting different ways. But I mean, some of the most powerful speakers, hands down, just the MC killed it. Everybody up there was killing it. Lots of local artists, men, women, old, young, and I have to look up her name. I plugged her on Twitter, but One of the most powerful speeches was actually this woman from the Jane organization, which, if you don't know, they basically ran like the underground railroad of abortions in the 60s. So after abortion was made illegal, just tons of women in the world that still needed them and wanted to get them, but safely. And they had recruited doctors who would perform the procedure safely. So she helped like 15,000 women in the 60s get safe, illegal abortions, which, you know, right before the overturn of Roe versus Wade was just like an absolute big deal because people were resulting to the worst matters possible for their own health in order to terminate pregnancy. So really powerful speeches, had a ton of fun, made friends with this woman. I showed up in, if you looked at my pictures on Instagram or anything, I showed up with some red lipstick on because I'm a fierce feminist. And this woman was just told me she was so inspired by my lipstick that she went and put on some of hers. So we got a cool picture together, and it was just really great time. People, women supporting women, men supporting women, people talking about the issues, and it was a blast.
That's awesome. No violence, arguments, everything was peaceful.
So peaceful.
That's great. It's always good when the city of Chicago can come together.
Yeah, and we talked to Jonalyn about having her back in January when the Women's March, the National Women's March goes on. So I'd love to make that happen because she's real awesome.
Yep, she nailed it. So we'll definitely have her back on the show. Thanks for having us be a part of Women's March. That's a great thing to do. And please, everyone, just a reminder, get out and vote.
Yeah.
Very important.
Yeah. Register to vote.
Absolutely. So cool. We'll get more into that later. Time to move on quickly before we dive into our topics to the fan of the week. Definitely want to give this one to someone who's been a listener of the show since the very beginning, since episode 1. He always randomly texts me, or if I ever see him like out and about, one of my homies from way back, he'll always comment on the show, just say, you know, we're doing a great job. The show is always evolving, giving positives and negatives that he hears every week. So want to give a shout out, and fan of the week goes to my homie Ron. You can find him on Instagram at _Goldie313. That's _Goldie313. Make sure you give him a follow. Say Alternative Fact Chicago sent you. Good dude. He's actually a huge Michigan State fan. So unfortunately, they're going to go down this weekend to Michigan. We're going to give our predictions a little bit later in the episode. But I know Michigan's going to win. So sorry, Ron, they're going down. We can talk about that and make a bet on that if you want after this. But we'll definitely talk about that more this week. So shout out to Ron, our fan of the week.
Woo woo.
you and that woo woo. We're going to ban that word from the show.
No, can't happen.
Gotta find a way for you to just come up with another phrase or slogan.
You said it earlier.
Well, yeah, but I can say that, not you.
So moving on to the important topics in the news right now. If you have seen it, music news, Drake and Pusha T in this crazy rap beef. Well, I mean, actually, it's not really recent. It's been happening since like 2011. So just regularly calling each other out on tracks. But it's kind of really become big this past week and all up in the news since some media happened. So we got to talk about rap beef and the rules. So what are the rules of rap beef?
Well, honestly, I don't think, and I hope you agree with me, that there should be or is no rules to rap beef.
Right.
I feel like in all previous rap beefs, like any and everything was on limits, off limits. It didn't really matter. Like, for example, Tupac and Biggie, people said what they want. Prodigy, Jay-Z, ongoing rap beef over the years. Everything was full go. I don't care if you're talking about their mom, their dads, the brothers, sisters, illnesses that they have. I think it should always just be, if you're going to actually get into the ring and dance with the rapper, like in terms of an actual rap beef, you should be able to go as low blow as you want. And you got to think that you're trying to keep it to specifically a rap beef. Like, obviously it's happened, rap beefs have gone left. Tupac and Biggie both died over a rap beef. So I understand these things can happen, but where you're going on wax, if you really feel like in order to say something that hurts the other person or create some type of drama that's going to get people on your side in a rap beef, I think by all means it should be full go. So I think what Drake's doing in the situation, obviously, if you don't know, if you've been living on a rock, like she said, obviously Drake and beef have been, and Pusha T have been in a rap beef for quite a while. They've been on interviews. Pusha T was on Joe Budden podcast today. Drake was on The Shop with LeBron James. So make sure you listen to both if you have not had time. Great, stories and actually just great feedback that you get. But I think overall, Drake's making excuses for the fact that he lost to Pusha T. So now he's trying to make up and come up with ways to say, oh, I stopped because, it was going to get taken too far. I think you just stopped because you were losing, and I think you just didn't really want your legacy to be that way, so you just kind of gave it up. But I think overall, since you're such a pop star right now and you can create a narrative that a lot of people are listening to you on, I think it's important that you really either stay out of it or go all the way and dabble into it, because when you're saying this may go too far, I think that's just spinning it in the wrong way, to where if you're going to be in a rap beef, be in one, or if not, don't. And I think it's as simple as that.
Yeah, I mean, I'm with you on some things. I will say that like there's no rules in rap beats or rap beefs and we've seen some of them culminate in like some terrible ways, but I think if you're going to get yourself into this kind of altercation, you have to be ready to back it up. And so anything you're going to talk about, rap about, freestyle about, go into the public and saying, you just need to own what you're going to say and say it. So in terms of like what you talk about or rap about or what you go after for somebody, I don't really think there's any rules. I will say though, with this, it's interesting to me how we've seen this like battle turn out, because when it originally started, Pusha T wasn't even coming for Drake. He was coming for Lil Wayne. And Drake felt some type of way about that, and because that's his mentor and his dude or whatever. And so that's kind of where the whole thing started. And then, of course, Pusha T was like throwing shade at Drake, like, you have a ghostwriter and all this other stuff that he said. But they're on two different levels. Obviously, right. Pusha T's been around for a long time. He's not a new rapper. He's been in the game. But right. He's on a different level than Drake. I mean, I personally love Drake. Everybody knows. He's my boy. I love him. But I mean, he's a different kind of artist. He's not right. He's not necessarily known for his freestyles. And so for him to come to Pusha T like this, like he knew he was behind, and he's the biggest guy in the game right now, not necessarily for this. And I feel like their battle is almost like irrelevant. Like it just seems stupid at this point. They're not even making the same music. And we've seen rap beefs bring down whole careers like Ja Rule. So at this point, like if you're going to beef with someone like the MGK Eminem rap beef, like that makes sense. That's an actual battle. It makes sense why they'd be at odds. They're competitors. But like what do these people have to do with each other besides that they're just like mad? Like they're just like little children that are mad.
Right, and I think I'm not sure if you got a chance to catch any of the Pusha T conversation on the Joe Budden podcast. It was kind of like, because they were incenting that the real beef is between Kanye West and Drake, right? More so than even Pusha T. And Pusha T was like, obviously, he's throwing jabs at me over time, and he rides for his team no matter what. So he was like, even if I'm not fully in the beef, or it's more about Kanye, right. I see red, so I'm going full go, like, no matter what. So it's kind of like, even though the beef wasn't really about necessarily him and Drake, like parts of it was, he didn't really care. He put some things on wax, and he's trying to say, like, leave it on wax, like, go as far as you want. But he really thinks that Drake's not really built for this, which I don't think he is. I think he dabbles in that. Right. But at the end of the day, he wants to be seen as a pop star. And I think really deep diving into this is bad for his image. And unfortunately, it was a great interview or a discussion he had with LeBron James on the shot. But my opinion, don't kill me for this, but he came off like he was whining and like, oh, he went too far and this and that and the other. Right. Bro, I think overall, I'm not sure if you agree, he took an L in the rap beef in terms of that. And I think he just leave it at that and move on. It doesn't hurt his legacy in any way.
Yeah, and I mean, back to what I was saying, Pusha T came for the whole crew, came for Young Money, and so Drake just took it upon himself, and so, I mean, I agree. Obviously, I love Drake, but yeah, he lost. This is not his thing. I mean, this is not his thing. There's really nothing else to say about it, and so I did listen to the podcast, and I feel like he did whine to an extent, but I just don't. This is not his thing. There's really nothing else to say about it. Like, I feel like they're just going at odds over nothing.
Yeah, I think it kind of seems pointless. And from hearing the conversation with Pusha T today, I think it just kind of needs to just end. There's really not much left to go. And, when Drake was trying to say you should get punched in the mouth for talking about 40 and his disease and all that, I don't think it should come to that point. Like, rap beef should be left on wax. And they may or may not ever make up, and who cares? Like, some people aren't meant to be friends. Right. Then the bigger issue is the Drake and Kanye thing. It's a weird relationship going on there, so they need to work that out. But we love Pusha. It didn't necessarily help his career. I mean, he's going to do what he wants regardless. He's going to be at the same level regardless. And Drake's not going to be hurt by this in any way, shape, or form either.
Nope.
Awesome. So who do you think won the rap beef overall?
Pusha T.
Yes, I will agree. I'm surprised you were going to say Drake. I know that's your boy.
But, I mean, I love the Drake that serenades me and plays piano, and that's the kind of Drake that I love. I mean, obviously, he does rap, and he, his old mixtapes are really good, but, I mean, that's not the kind of music he makes anymore, so.
Right.
Yeah.
Yep, absolutely. So let us know who you think won the rap beef, and should it actually end? And then lastly, are there any rules to rap beef? We posted this on our Facebook and Instagram today, so we love to get your comments and all that, because I think it's a great discussion. But, yeah, I think Pusha T won this, and I think both should just move on to different parts of their career.
Agreed.
Awesome. Switching gears, this was an interesting topic that was sent to me that Kate and I did some research on this week. So I definitely think it's something we should note and talk about, because it's actually going to be an issue going forward. So what's going on right now is in Canada, obviously pot smoking is going to be legalized as of October 17th, which is today. So weed, pot smoking is officially legal in Canada. What's going to happen is those who have smoked pot in any way, shape, or form, or who admits to doing so while crossing the border to the United States, U.S. Customs are trained and legally right now to be denied to actually get into the U.S. So there was a rule previously stating that anyone that's ever been involved in the marijuana industry previously was automatically considered like drug traffickers in Canada. Now they've updated to say that they're going to permit those involved professionally in Canada's legal marijuana industry to enter the U.S., but only for reasons unrelated to the marijuana industry. So you can come over if you're not promoting it. But if you're ever at the border, they ask you questions about what you're doing, blah, blah, blah. Have you ever smoked before? If you answer at any point in time, yes, no matter what the reason is, that they're legally obligated to not let you over the border, which is crazy because it's going to present a huge issue. Why that is, so I know we got people in Canada who want to come to the U.S. and should you lie and say that you have not? I want to get your thoughts on this case. What's going on with this story? This might pose a big issue, but I want to get your opinions on this topic.
Yeah, so this just kind of goes back to America's crazy, ridiculous war on drugs. And I understand where the war on drugs came from, but I think that there's bigger fish to fry out there. And they're lumping marijuana in this sector right now with heroin and crack and treating it as drug trafficking. Let's be honest, America is behind in the times on making marijuana legal. Obviously, 31 states, Washington, D.C. have done so, but mostly just for medicinal use. Very few of those states have recreational use of marijuana legal, and the way that they overreact about it is just absolutely crazy. Obviously, if Canada makes it legal, people are going to be going across the borders, coming back and forth, and to stop someone at the border and ask, have you ever smoked marijuana? And even if it's for medicinal use, even if it's because they were prescribed, because it's legal there, to not let them into the United States, I mean, that's absolutely ridiculous. Just chances are, if you asked any of our parents if they've ever done drugs, right. I mean, my dad tells me stories about smoking weed and doing this and that. And worse, if we're going to be honest. Hi, Dad. He's listening probably right now.
Definitely.
But it's just crazy, to ask somebody, not only does it, it just makes no sense if they've done it once in their past. So I just think absolutely you should be lying. You should just say no and move it forward if you need to get into the U.S. for whatever reason. If you are trafficking marijuana into the U.S. for whatever reason, I don't really understand why, because there's plenty of grow houses. I don't feel like we're going to get our weed from Canada. And I just feel like this is an issue that is null and void. Obviously, weed is not legal in all states here, but it's not inaccessible. Right. Any college kid can tell you that. And it's just why are we wasting our time and resources on this when there's other things we should be taking care of?
Well said, my friend.
Thank you.
But I think, like I said, there's a bigger fish to fry. Yeah. So much more going on. Like I said, weed is legalized in some states in the U.S., but not others. So it's I know they're towing the line right now in the United States where it just needs to be legalized. Yeah. Nationally, and we won't necessarily have this issue. If you're in the United States now, but you're from Canada, they're saying you might get denied back into Canada in some cases. And the problem that you're saying, you're telling people to lie about it and say no. Obviously, you're not supposed to necessarily lie to these people, because if they find out, you're really screwed. So it's and if you say yes, you can't get over the border. So what are you really to do?
Right. And we got to think about how this is going to affect people. This isn't just taking a vacation to Niagara Falls. This is going to affect transporting supplies, equipment, companies, not just people that transport marijuana, but people that transport things from Canada, trucking companies, anybody that does cross-border business. This is going to affect economies. And truckers smoke. So they have those lives. They smoke.
In this article I saw in the Windsor Star, the truckers were definitely paranoid about this.
Yeah, for sure.
They're going to get a lot of problems.
So they're paranoid.
Yeah, absolutely. What else are you going to do? You got to drive a truck for hours upon hours a day.
I think weed would put you to sleep. Don't they normally do
kind of. There's different strands of weed. There's upper weed, there's downer weed. Right. The crazy part, the worst thing it'll ever do is put you to sleep. It's not going to kill you. Won't OD on it. So I think the United States need to come with a time. Just think about if it was completely legalized in the United States, how much more money it would bring to the economy, how much more available money we'd have cash on hand, and actually it would eliminate some of the drug dealers because they won't need to sell weed because you can get it legally. So they'll have to find something else to sell. So I think it's just one big problem of nothing. And it's an interesting story, so make sure you check it out. Obviously, with elections coming up, I know in Michigan, it's going to be on the ballot to legalize marijuana again. So some states are starting to come around. It's just stuff to really keep looking into. So make sure we talk about this to make sure that you are informed in these situations. And if you're Canadian, I know we have some Canadian listeners out there, don't tell them that you're smoking weed or have smoked weed before, or else you ain't coming back to the United States. So sorry, but make sure you tread lightly there. It's awesome. What else you got on that? We good?
Yeah, I'm good.
I know.
Said my piece.
I know. I want to get one of our good friends, one of our former sponsors, Michael Mays, on here, since he's a cannabis consultant extraordinaire. So I kind of want to get his thoughts, but we'll save that for a future episode of Alternative Facts Chicago. So now we're actually going to get on two guys from Bacchus Entertainment, my homie Justin and Devin. But before we do that, we're going to pay some bills and say a shout out to one of our sponsors at the Wrigley Report. So our Everything Chicago segment is sponsored by the Wrigley Report. Cubs fans, if you're looking for the latest Wrigley renovations, updates, team news, player analysis, and overall Cub news, look no further than the Wrigley Report, your source for all Chicago Cub news. Find us on all social media sites at the Wrigley Report. Once again, that's at Wrigley Report. So now we just had a quick conversation with Justin and Devin from Bacchus Entertainment. They're starting a new bar crawl company with a twist. Great idea. So make sure you enjoy that segment, and we'll be back with more Everything Chicago. So shouts out to our guys at the Wrigley Report, our homie Jason, good peoples. We got some next guests here in our studio right now that knows Jason very well. Sorry for the Cubs. They'll be back next season. I know Jason's still reeling over that right now. But we're going to move back to our Everything Chicago segment for all of our new listeners, fans of the show. It's a segment where we talk about all the great things that are going on in the Chicago area, from downtown to the surrounding suburbs as well. And what we like to do is we always like to be out in the streets with the people, always like to give back to the community, and always like to, be working with those that are doing great things or trying to do great, positive things for the city of Chicago. So to begin our Everything Chicago segment, we figure we're going to switch it up here a little bit. So we have today one of my good friends I've known in Chicago for many, many years, Justin, and one of his partners, Devin. They are starting a brand new company called Bacchus. I think I said it right, Bacchus Entertainment. They're going to be doing bar crawls here in the Chicago area, but a different version of it, a great spin on it, which I think is going to be a great, great avenue for Chicago and beyond, as they're going to be moving around the country as well, too. So we're going to talk a little bit about that, what their goals, plans are, but I think you'll like it and something that you should definitely be a part of, because Alternative Facts Chicago is also going to be a part of this as well. So we want to welcome to Alternative Facts Chicago today, Justin, Devin. How you guys doing?
Hey, what's going on, guys?
Doing well, man. Thanks for having us.
Appreciate you. Thanks for coming out on a Wednesday. Justin's looking dapper, by the way, like he just got out of work, looking clean cut, fly as ever. So thanks for dressing well today. Not sure, but you look good today.
Oh, just go.
Yeah,
oh, okay. Okay, thank you. That was a really long intro. So, you guys have this event coming up. Obviously, we've already started talking about it on Alternative Facts, pushing it on social media. We are super excited, but we want to hear a little bit about the backstory of Bacchus Entertainment. Kind of, where did it start? You guys are pretty new, but you have a lot of vision. So, what's going on with you?
So Bacchus was started a little bit. We came up with the idea in our heads a little bit over a year ago. We wanted to find a way to leverage our industry experience with the kind of the business backgrounds that we already have. I suck at this. Bro, I can't read and talk at the same time.
Speak from the heart. You got it.
I can't read and talk at the same time.
Tell us about it.
So we came up with the idea of Bacchus a little bit over a year ago, with the experience that we already have in the industry and what we've already experienced.
Cool. So you're in the bar crawl industry.
We've already done a lot of other bar crawls. We've got great experience from doing the other ones, and so we want to take the idea that we've already experienced with. But I can't. I suck. I suck at the explanation.
So this is a quick backstory, guys. This guy was just rattling off everything we were talking before we got started here. As soon as we hit the record button, this guy got stage fright.
Talking about Greek deities and where the name Bacchus came from.
Oh my God.
Justin.
Where's the name Bacchus come from?
So Bacchus comes from the Greek god. He is the Greek version of Dionysus, or the Roman version of Dionysus, who's the Greek god of levity, festivals, and most importantly, wine. The reason I chose Bacchus is because he's the last god to the table. He's basically the new kid on the block. He was a replacement for another guy who stepped down from Olympus. So I chose Bacchus. It's kind of a tilt, a little head nod to being the new kid on the block, as well as balance. He takes place in all the other struggles that Olympus feels like Chicago. We take place in the struggles and the successes, but it also he's the god of fun. Basically, he's got stuff to do. He struggles, but he also makes time for fun. So that was a little nod to a little name play that we got in there, and I thought it'd be clever to use that as a bar crawl name. So that's where it came from.
I like it.
That's good. And so I know from speaking with you a little bit earlier that you guys are going to try to keep a smaller scale. I know a lot of bar crawls that we see in Chicago and beyond are like 5, 6, 7, 8 bars, take up an entire area. Your theme seems to be going to be more of a smaller scale, not as many bars. Can you tell us the benefit and why that's important?
Yeah, I mean, with small crawls, you get a more personalized experience. We want to give back to our customers in a unique way. This gives us a chance to let people go out there and enjoy the bar crawl more. What are some of the worst things you hate about the bar crawls, Brian?
Long lines.
Long lines, overcrowded, cookie
cutter. You
cutter.
didn't ask me, but I'm going to tell you anyway. Packed, they're crowded.
Yeah, exactly. So you're dealing with the same problems. As much as you want to go out and have fun at these things, you're sitting in a line for a big portion of what you're doing, or you're overcrowded, you're waiting too long for drinks. We want to kind of take all the fun parts of a bar crawl, put it into a more small, pared down way, and then just make it so you can interact more. You can bring your friends, you can meet some new friends, maybe your new lady friend or boyfriend, who knows? I mean, and we just want to make it so it's a little bit more of you having a good time as opposed to you waiting to get in or you waiting to get a drink and not being able to hear somebody because it's 800 people right next to you. So
how would that work if all 3 bars are smaller scale bars, but what if they're all still crowded? How are you going to fix that?
You'll still have some crowding. Obviously, you're not going to be in there sitting with nobody. It's not going to be you and 12 friends on a bar crawl. It's just you can do that on your own. You don't need us for that. But
you have to buy tickets for that.
We are going to limit our sales, and we have these bars reserved for the event. So we're going to make it so that you're going to have more of a comfortable experience. If we get to a certain point where we think it's going to make it so that we start getting into the problems that we are trying to avoid, we'll cap the tickets and we'll cut off the sales. So just a way to kind of make it so that you guys have that more intimate feel, more VIP experience.
Obviously, it's not. It doesn't apply to the first event. The first event is really more of our approach to brunch. It's a late start. There are other bar crawls in the city that start super early. They start at 7, 8 in the morning. Bars are opening up early. We made it easier for the people who own the bars. With our late start, we made it a lot more relaxed. That's for the first one. The idea of doing them smaller works with a lot of future themes. There's a lot of pacing that's involved, both in the theme and in the location choice. So it's distance to the bars is a pacing method. You've got the theme as well, like you have to stop and do something or hang out here.
Tell us what the theme is. I don't think we announced it yet in this segment.
So the theme for this event is flapjacks and flannels. It's a really we're doing at the very beginning at John Barleycorn. We're going to have an open buffet. It's going to have just some of your breakfast foods. We're going to do pancakes, flapjacks, sausage eggs. Pretty typical. That comes included with the ticket price. Like that is not an extra that we're handing that to you as soon as you walk in the door. We've got great beer specials, great specials at the bar, and then as you go along at the end, if you decide that you like a little bit more VIP experience, we've set that up for you too. With the premium tickets, you get entered into a completely separate raffle. It's going to have a $500 raffle tag attached to it. So we're not gonna tell you what that is until a little bit later, but it's definitely well worth the extra cash. You also get entered into an exclusive after party, and unlike the bar crawl, we're not shutting it down. Barleycorn, Old Crow, Moe's, any schmo can walk in. After a certain time, like they could just come in to the bar, right? We're not closing it down. We're not renting it out. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
For like the first 4 hours of the bar crawl, if you can't get in without a wristband, after that, it's kind of free game. The cool thing about the premium tickets is that upstairs at Barleycorn, that is completely set off. So after the event ends, everyone who bought in premium or bought the after party upgrade, is coming up to the upstairs John Barleycorn open bar for an hour. You get entered into a completely separate post raffle after that.
Nice.
It's a really luxe experience. Simplicity is the finest sophistication is our motto. It's our tag. You're for this very first one, you're in Wrigleyville, you're experiencing something that most of us have experienced a time or two, probably. Some of us a little bit more than others.
He's looking at Brian.
Yeah, I'm looking at Brian 100%.
honest.
100%.
Justin, he's been there way.
I'm side-eyeing Justin. I'm side-eyeing
Justin
Justin.
way more than I do.
Let's be real.
How about you're normally with Jason, but he's not here to defend himself. Though.
Taking that something that's familiar and taking it to the next level.
Yeah.
For our next events, they're going to be obviously different thematically. So we'll have little tweaks for that.
Perfect. Sounds good.
You don't want to skip that one?
No, we're gonna ask that. We have to.
Okay, so you talked about smaller bar crawls and having like a more intimate experience. So, of course, the Wrigley area specifically, but Chicago's kind of used to the bigger bar crawls, more of like the T-box experience. So, without bashing them, kind of what makes you guys different from that?
Oh, yeah, of course. I mean, we would never bash T-Box. We've had a lot of fun with that. Chris has been instrumental in theme parties and bar crawls from the late 90s into the early 2000s. We've both been a part of the T-Box in the past. We've had a lot of fun doing this. So we're not opposed to some of their concepts, but we just have some things we want to do. It's a little different. We want to do, like I said, a little more intimate scale, a little more luxury scale. And we want to make it so that we can pass back some of the stuff that we do to not only to our people who come to the event, but also to the community. Portion of our sales will either go back to a charity or we'll do some community service in the neighborhood of the bar crawl. So I know Chris does some of the same stuff with T-Box, but there's just some different events, some different ideas, and some different things we want to try and kind of put out there. And he's been great, and we've had a good time with that. But we're not here to be rivals. We're here to fill the gap where the rest of the time there's other things we can do.
Absolutely. It's almost like taking bar crawls to the next level.
So the biggest thing that I want to do with this company and the launch is that we're taking the idea of the bar crawl and taking it to a next level, really touching on that, simplicity is the finest sophistication. The idea of the bar crawl is that you get together, you have a good time with your friends. I want to take that to the next level for the communities. And there are smaller businesses that aren't really touched on when, they don't have the backing. And I want to be able to come into a community that, really doesn't have that foot traffic and be able to say, hey, let's come in, we'll work with you, and then at the end we're going to help you out and take you to that next step. It's all about coming into a community and leaving it better than you found it. And so that's the idea of being really able to take the idea of the bar crawl that we've really experienced with T-Box and that we love. We love going out and having fun. That's the best part. With that many people, though, when you come into an area, there's a lot more that goes into it. So if we want to take that down, pare that down to the small, that allows you to have a little bit more fun, a little bit less spread out. It's less of a load on the bars and the community itself. And then we can take all that positivity, put it back into the community, help them move forward. So that is our goal, is to have the event with a purpose. That when you're coming to a Bacchus event, that you are helping drive forward the community that you're in. So you're not just coming partying and then leaving. You're leaving a little bit of that positivity, which I think is really, really impactful in today.
Awesome.
I think he lost his stage fright, by the way.
Yeah, right? Like a totally different person. Totally different person. That's awesome. So I know we're going to talk about some of the more events you're going to do in Chicago area this next year. But obviously we have quite a few listeners, fans of the show outside of Chicago. So what plans do you guys have in 2019 and beyond to branch outside of Chicago and hit other parts of the country? And what are some of those locations?
Yeah, so I mean, Chicago's our home, man. We've been here. We both live here. I've been hanging out with you for 6 years now. So
long time.
We've been here doing Chicago, and we love Chicago. We love everything that the city has to offer. But once we get established here, we want to kind of branch out a little bit and start looking at some other cities. We're going to look at some of the major cities in the Midwest. We're going to look at some of the big college towns in the Midwest. Maybe we'll get up to your alma mater. We'll see.
Mount Pleasant?
Who knows? And then we got some things out west that are in the works too. But these are going to be things that slowly we'll start to matriculate, and we'll we'll be able to reveal some places once we get things more under wraps and set up. We want to make sure that Chicago is going to be the biggest and the best to start with, because this is our home base and this is going to be where we are. And obviously we want to give back to our city, and that's why we're here.
Awesome. Well, we're excited for you to be kicking it off here. Flapjacks and flannels. It's going to be super fun. And you kind of gave us the details of like the brunch and the bar and what's gonna happen that day. But can you tell us more about the ticket packages? Because I know you said there's like a VIP and then there's like an early bird. So can you kind of break that down for us?
Yeah, absolutely. So we've got the early bird tickets that are on sale right now. They're going to be coming to a close here in the next about week and a half, 2 weeks here. It's $15 plus fees and taxes. The fees and taxes are required by the city. Otherwise, I'd just have it set at $15. It ends up being like $17.23.
Don't be mad at Devin.
Yeah, I don't know why. It just that's how it works.
And so, what's the early bird get you?
So the early bird ticket gets you an entry into the early bird lottery. It is a completely separate lottery. Lottery raffle. It's completely separate from everything else. Unless you buy an early bird ticket, you will not have entry. It is worth more than the GA ticket.
Nice.
Raffle. It's our reward for you putting your faith in us early, where you're committing to the idea and you're helping kick everything off. The GA is $27 plus taxes and fees. So it's like, whatever Chicago decides to charge us, that's what we got. Those entertainment fees are the truth.
Right.
A GA ticket gets entry into the GA lottery. That's it.
Got it.
It's
and the bar crawl.
And the bar crawl.
Okay.
And the bar crawl and everything else.
I mean, you said brunch, so I'm just making sure
and the specials and the brunch. Yeah, but it's the GA. The GA lottery is just a standard lottery. A couple examples of things that we'll give away is a ticket to the next event.
Cool.
Some of them will have various different prizes, giveaways, things like that. Be it another T-shirt or just your standard fare. The premium admission is $50 plus taxes and fees.
There's more.
Thank you for clarifying.
Yeah. I gotta add it in every time. And that's all the bells and whistles. That includes entry into the GA and the premium raffle. That gets you the brunch. That gets you the drink specials. It also gives you the exclusive entry into the after party. It is inclusive in that ticket price. And it gives you an hour of open bar. So that's what we're working out right now.
With that, the premium, there is a limited amount of those tickets, just like there is with the early bird. So if you want to get in sooner. Once those are gone, that's going to be gone. You will still have access to the after party if you want to buy the separate ticket. You have to buy that with your GA ticket or your early bird ticket, but there is only a limited number. I just want to make sure everyone's aware. You can't come up a couple days before and hoping to get that premium ticket.
Right.
So
Awesome. And if someone wanted to be a sponsor for not just this event or other bar crawls coming up soon, how could they be in part, or what would they do to get involved in that?
They could reach out to us directly at Bacchus Entertainment LLC at gmail.com. That goes directly to myself and Justin. We're very interested in negotiating with some sponsors and talking to them. We'd love to have some community involvement, and that earns allows us to impart some of their marketing as well into our own bar crawl, whether that's some logos on our shirts or some product promotions, some giveaways, some things like that. We're very, very interested and very dedicated in working with the community. So any small community leaders or businesses that want to
Man,
I
I hear that
slay.
noise in my sleep.
Yeah.
It's like my
Bing,
email
bing,
too, man.
Bang.
That's the
Any of those small business owners in the area that want to reach out to us and be a part of it, whether it's another bar or if it's a small business or if it's one of the actual neighborhood associations, we would love to start a dialogue and a conversation on how to get them involved. This first one, we're doing kind of on our backs. We're not really using any sponsors other than, of course, Alternative Facts Chicago.
Yeah.
Shout out.
There you go.
That's what we're rocking with right now. But we're very interested in becoming more involved with the community. So we'd love to hear some reach outs and start some conversations.
Nice. So you talked about expanding, obviously, to other cities and doing more events. So what are the other kind of really cool themes we can look forward to seeing from Bacchus Entertainment Bar Crawls?
So we'll give you a little preview of some
Sneak
of the
peek right
sneak
here.
sneak peek right here. First,
time.
here where you heard it. We're going to be doing an event in January. It's called Boreas Festivus. For those not picking up on the Greek theme, Boreas is one of the Greek deities for winter. So we're going to be doing a winter themed bar crawl. It'll be a pretty cool theme, and we haven't locked down a location yet, but that will be coming soon. And then in February we'll be doing a lust and luxury.
Ooh, your voice changed on that one.
Hey.
It got real very white on us.
Sexy voice.
Hey, that's the sexy voice right there. Exactly. But we're gonna be doing it, and that's gonna be about mid-February.
Cool. I figured.
Yeah. Hey, when you know, you know. When you got it, you got it. You got it.
That's great.
And we're gonna be doing that mid-February. It's not going to be the weekend of Valentine's Day.
Thank God.
I know.
just gonna ask that.
I know you were looking at me,
Be
Brian.
the
It's
most
not.
drunk one out there.
There'd be a lot of breakups.
A
That
lot of
weekend.
break-
Yeah.
lot of breakups,
Lot
lot
of
of
breakups.
sadness.
Yeah.
No, we're not doing that.
The weekend after though is probably perfect.
We're gonna be doing it. We're gonna be doing it post Valentine's Day.
Cool.
It will obviously have that whole theme to it, but it's gonna be more in line with a Bacchanalia, which is a play. It is quite literally a party that's thrown for Bacchus. It will be a sight to see. That is for sure. More to come.
Awesome.
This guy like to have a good time if you didn't notice.
Yeah, that's awesome. I like the fact that you guys are doing different themes, not just the standard normal bar crawl too. So you got to make yourself unique. I think that's a great tool to have.
Yeah, we wanted to be able to have different themes for different times of the year and be able to involve ourselves with the themes in certain times of the year that line up on the calendar, as well as having unique experiences. Like each one of these themes is in a familiar place, but it's a completely new experience. So we're really driving home simplicity is the finest sophistication. You're not going to feel like you're like lost. You're not going to be going to this place and you're like, man, I hope I have fun. Like you already know you're going to have fun because you've already been there,
Right.
but it's different. It's not just, you're not just going to the same bar, meeting the same people, drinking the same drinks. Everything is going to be different but also familiar. So with each one of these themes, over the events that we're hosting this year, we're going to really drive it home that we want you to feel luxury. We want you to feel special, but also feel at home. That's why we're starting in Chicago. That's why we're staying in Chicago. And that's why we're continuing to expand out from Chicago, not just doing some events here and then doing some events there.
Yep.
Y'all are doing what, like one a month? For the most part?
For the most part,
Maybe?
they're spread out over the calendar year. It's not going to be every month. There are some that are a little bit more spread out. There are some that are more right after one after another, but in different parts of the city.
Cool.
Yeah, we want to play on obviously people's holiday schedules and some of the times that are here that it's a little bit busy, more vacation stuff like that, and we do have some connections in the industry from what we've done in the past and some of the people we've worked with. So we also don't want to step on the toes of some people who already have established events as well. So
Smart.
We're going to work around what we have, and as Devin said, we're going to have some very unique events, some new things, and then if people have they gravitate to one, they really like that one, then we may do some staples and bring some of them back every year. So we'll kind of see how our responses are to each of them, and as you've done a bunch of these, and I'm sure you've probably done some of these before, Kate, in the past, maybe here or in Atlanta. You do the same things. They're a lot of fun, but you do like some variety too. So maybe change it up once in a while, but still have that familiar one to fall back on.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, Bacchus Entertainment, the new wave of doing bar crawls, starting in Chicago, will come into a city near you, hopefully sooner than later. I think it's a great idea. Glad that Alternative Fact Chicago can be part of it. So before we get you guys out of here, here's your 30-second commercial. Where can they find you guys on social media, website? Where can they buy tickets? How can they get involved? Because everyone in Chicago needs to be involved in this.
So our Eventbrite page is where you can pick up tickets. You can also pick them up off of Facebook. We're located right off of right on Bacchus Entertainment LLC. That is the Facebook page. Keeping it simple. Keeping it simple.
It's like a drinking game. Like every time we talk about something like Greek deity, I feel like we need.
Yeah. Let's not start that because that is overconsumption. But I like the idea. We are located on Twitter at Bacchus Enter LLC. That is our Twitter handle. Like, follow, share, do all that stuff. We've also located on Instagram, Bacchus Entertainment. And the ticketing is really easy. It's all done through Eventbrite, so you can go in there, pick up your ticket, get you an email right there, and then you've got your digital ticket right there. There is not a place where you have to go and pick up tickets. So all self-contained, all right through social media, and really, really, really easy to use.
And because of our awesome partnership here with Alternative Facts, we are going to hand you guys over a handful of tickets you can give out to your guests each week. Obviously, we'll get a pair for the two of you as well, but we'll give you enough that you can give some out each week until the event starts itself, and we'll be able to make some of your listeners' day as well.
So we definitely plan on being there.
Yeah, and then, of course, we'll be sharing the link. So if you follow us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, wherever, we'll be posting the link for you as well. So you have no excuse to not get your tickets now.
Anything else you guys got? Good to go?
The only thing I can say is go blue this weekend, right, B?
Yes, and before we get you out of here, I definitely want to ask you, that was definitely part of our question. I'm not sure if you're obviously both huge Michigan fans, so what's your predictions on Wax, Alternative Fact Chicago, Michigan State this weekend? What's the score? Who's going to win?
I'm going 31-17 Michigan.
31-17 from Justin. Devin, what we got?
I will go 24-14.
Michigan or Michigan State?
I'll take Michigan 24-14.
All day.
Michigan.
Yeah, I'm going Michigan. I'm going to go Michigan 28-7. I think their defense is going to hold them down. Their running game is not good for Michigan State, and I think we got something to prove finally.
I think it's going to be definitely a good game, and I definitely agree with you with the defense. I think that should be a crushing victory.
Kate, what's your prediction? I got to ask you too. Michigan State.
I'm good, thanks though.
No prediction.
I don't watch either of these teams.
She just bailed out on us there.
Yeah, she did. So 3 Michigan fans. We'll say she picked Michigan State just to create some
to add some animosity, right?
Yeah.
Why would you do that?
Because you didn't pick, so you take State.
Well, someone's
so
got to
everyone
be on
Kate
that
picked
side,
State.
Thanks so much for coming in, guys. We had such a great time.
Thank you so much for having us. We really appreciate it. We're looking really real forward to working with you guys. We're really excited to
awesome.
Partnership in the future here, and we can't wait to grow both of our brands together.
Absolutely. So this has been Bacchus Entertainment. Justin, Devin, we're going to continue everything Chicago, but we really thank you guys for joining the episode today.
We appreciate you for having us.
Thanks,
awesome.
Guys.
Cool. Huge thanks to Justin and Devin, Bacchus Entertainment, Flannels and Flapjacks coming up. Like we said, check out our social for more ticket info, and we'll be giving away some tickets in just a little bit. So lots of other things going on in Chicago right now. You guys already kind of talked about the Michigan and MSU predictions.
Which I already know Michigan's going to win.
Right, okay.
And now you're stuck picking Michigan State, so have at it.
I didn't say anything. I plead the fifth.
All right.
I plead the fifth. But as you know, Chicago is one of my favorite cities in the world. I moved here from Georgia to come back and be a part of everything here. And I'm not the only one that feels that way. Chicago is named Best City in the U.S. for the second year in a row. Internationally renowned destination. And then this whole article that we read on USA Today, it kind of talks about the reasons that they picked it. It's like culinary and hotel scene, well known for its riverfront cruises and obviously like the River Walk. So this is the second year that Chicago's been the winner of this award. It's the Condé Nast Travelers 2018 Reader's Choice Award. It's a lot of words, but kind of really a big deal. And I think what this really goes hand in hand with is a couple weeks ago when we talked about Chicago's the biggest spot for millennials right now. And I feel like those are the people that have the extra money to be able to hang out in Chicago and be on the River Walk and check out these restaurants and these scenes. And they've really just cultivated this fantastic community around people that want to get out there. I mean, just even thinking of like our friends at Bacchus Entertainment, like what they're doing. They're launching a company for beer crawls that's giving back to the community, you know? And we meet people all the time that love what we do and how we're doing things with the community and checking things out. And, you know, Chicago's just that kind of city. So
absolutely, I agree. I think the Riverwalk has helped out a lot in the city. Obviously, the city was always busy before, but it's an added element of different like places to see, different types of like bars and restaurants on the Riverwalk. I remember last summer, like looking up from one of like the bridges and like just looking down, just like the sea of people down there. It's just a cool thing to see. And just the weather in Chicago, summertime is awesome. And just the hotels, I know this article mentioned, like, there's just so many different hotels. There's so many different, like, cool hotels, too.
Right.
Like, just, like, different themes are super nice, spacious.
Rooftop bars.
Rooftop
places
bars.
To hang out.
Of course,
yeah.
you can drink, of course. But, I mean, they can be pretty expensive. But the crazy part about it is most of them are always sold out, like, every single weekend. It's just always so much to do in Chicago in the summertime. If only we didn't have all the snow and the cold weather, it would be a perfect city.
I don't think it stops anybody, though.
Yeah, but it's just cold.
It's just cold.
It's just cold. But
okay.
Other than that, I mean, Chicago's the best city in the world. I tell people in Michigan that all the time. Like, they're like, are you ever going to move back? I'm like, maybe, but why right now? Like, Chicago is just awesome. It's just so much to do here. It's a beautiful city. Lot of good. You used to meet a lot of good people, I think, too. All different types of people, nationalities. Very cultured here in Chicago. All types of food you can eat. So if you're a listener or a fan of the show and have never been to Chicago, what the hell are you doing? Please come visit. You need to sometime soon. No, really, you'd have a blast. Like, Chicago really is an awesome city.
Yeah. I got some friends coming at the end of the month.
Yeah?
Yeah, for the first time from Georgia.
Oh, man.
Yeah, so we're going to
Tell them to bring a coat.
What?
Tell them to bring a jacket
Oh, I
or a
already
coat.
told them. Yeah. Y'all pack some layers.
They may not need snow boots yet, but maybe. Never know.
We'll see. We'll see what happens.
Well,
Weather changes daily here, so.
Absolutely. Enjoy that. Also going on here in Chicago, so University of Illinois, this is a great story we saw that was on the Daily Herald. They actually released a plan to provide free tuition to all middle-income families, middle-income families in the state of Illinois. So I think the family income median has to be around or less than $61,000, and you actually have to actually live in the state of Illinois to actually qualify for this. And what that would do is if you're a transfer, it gets you free tuition for 6 semesters, so essentially 3 years, and for a new undergraduate for 4 years, you get 8 semesters for a 4-year free ride as well, too. So cool cause. Obviously, a lot of people want to go to college, want to go to these big universities. Places like University of Illinois are very, very expensive compared to other colleges across the country. So being able to get a free tuition, get a free education at a renowned school like U of I, even though their sports are not good, unfortunately. I'm sorry, guys.
It's UIC, though, right?
I thought it was UIC or U of I.
U of I or UIC?
There's a Urbana campus.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's what I thought, too. I thought it said USC, but I think it actually – so it's University of Illinois in Urbana-Champaign. So, yeah, U of I. I know, I thought that's the first one that said UIC.
Yeah, me too.
But I was looking into it. I was like, wait a minute, that's University of Illinois. So, much bigger school, cool campus. I know some people that went there. They said they loved it. I think it would be a great environment. But to actually allow people who can't really afford going there the opportunity to go there, I think it's a great cause.
Yeah, no, I'm totally for this. I thought this was an awesome plan. So a lot of people don't really know, but in Georgia, there's something similar to this. It's called the Hope Scholarship.
Okay.
One of the reasons that my parents wanted to move to Georgia was because I got to go to college for X amount of years for free if you kept a certain GPA. And they ended up amending it and changing it after a few years, which I'm guessing Illinois will do to where it just covered fees. But still, that's a substantial amount of money. And one of the things that I was surprised when I moved here and meeting people was that so many people who live here go out of state. And it's because they don't get any kind of they get a break. You get a break for in-state. But if you're going to a big school like Illinois or a state school, it's not really that much of a break in the long run. So it's sending people to places like Iowa. And I know there's other schools closer that will give you in-state tuition, even if you're not from that state, if you read in requirements. So obviously they did this to kind of get people to stay in-state, boost the economy from within. You're going to have to reach certain grade criteria, but I think it's going to help a lot of people go to school, primarily coming from these households that make a little less income and don't necessarily have the money to send their kids to school, or have any kind of savings. So this is awesome. I love when we're putting money back into education, and from what I can tell in the article, it's not going to be more taxes. They're going to be taking the money out of grants and like the Pell grant and things like that. They're going to be like compiling the money for you. So I mean, awesome. 4 years of college for free. That's like a dream come true.
Especially a big school like that.
For sure.
Most inner city kids wouldn't have that opportunity. So I think it's a cool tool to have. Great opportunity. So for all of our listeners or parents may have some kids, or even if we have some high school kids looking to go to school, you can go to University of Illinois for free if your family makes $61,000 a year.
Right.
Absolutely. So, man, our guy Chance the Rapper, and we talked about him quite a bit.
Every day.
Which is cool. He's actually doing a lot of great things. So what's
Yes.
going on with our guy Chance the Rapper?
So I had actually messaged you because Chance the Rapper, there was like some rumors going around not long ago that he was going to run for mayor, but obviously they were all rumors. And then Chance came to Twitter and said something about the mayoral election here in Chicago, and he had a big announcement and he called a press release. And I'm texting you like, oh my God, Chance the Rapper gonna run for mayor.
I remember that.
No, but I knew in my brain he was not actually going to run for mayor. We kind of knew he was just going to make an endorsement. So Amara Enya for mayor, that's who he's endorsing. Kind of interesting because he did mention that he hasn't given her campaign any money yet.
Right. I saw that.
But he said, I have money and I endorse her. And obviously in his brain and in a lot of people's brain, it's going to be the game changer because we've talked about this before. We talked about it with John Lynn last week. You know, Chicago has a ton of people of voting age that have never voted before. So if Chance the Rapper endorses somebody, this is going to be the person that's probably going to win this election at this point. You have to keep that in mind. And, you know, Chance the Rapper is like so Chicago positive. He's like wanting to work with people that are going to promote change in the community. And he's saying that this is the person that's going to be that. And, just really interesting how not only does he so much back her, but like confidently backs her, saying like, this is your future mayor now. And like basically like his stance is what's going to make the difference. But what's interesting to me is that this endorsement is going at odds with his father. I don't know if you saw this, but his dad's a former Emmanuel aide. And so he's supporting the Cook County Board President, Tony Preckwinkle, in the race. And
what
so Preckwinkle. Periwinkle was better. So it's kind of interesting because he's actually going against his father's candidate. So I like that he's doing that too because he's saying this is the better choice.
Which is cool. He kind of, he said, I love my dad, or I respect his opinion on politics, but this is the best person for the job.
Right.
Which is why does he think, his candidate's a better person than, what's his name? I can't, Preckwinkle his last name. I think I haven't heard much about him. I'll have to do my research, but that is very interesting to note, seeing, that his father has a lot of background in politics, has been known in Chicago for politics for a very long time. So I'm not sure what the relationship is, with Chance and Amara Enya, but he basically said, and it's funny, it was like, kind of said it in a confident way.
Yeah.
I like to say very narcissistically, if I back you, you have a chance absolutely of winning. So obviously she's going to get a lot of the popular young vote. I think just overall, just getting kids to vote based off of the back of Chance, I think it's cool. Yeah. So I'll have to do more research on her. I'm sure all of you guys will as well too. But the fact that Chance is backing someone officially this soon in the race is kudos for her. And I guess she just has a lot of great ideas on future thinking. She promised a massive voter education and registration drive. So kind of energize millennial voters and things like that. And, Chance is going to be in the forefront. So I think it's a cool tool. And I'll have to check out and see if we all should support her as well too.
Yeah, and she's a huge supporter of Chicago Public Schools, which obviously we know is one of Chance's things. And I don't know if you saw his Lyft promotion.
Yes,
it
hilarious.
Was so cool. The video, you can talk about it if you want, but they got this. Lyft has this new Save the Change promotion campaign, and they've gotten DJ Khaled's been on it, Demi Lovato, and so basically they put you in an undercover Lyft. So you jump into a Lyft and Chance the Rapper is driving these people around and asking them questions, and it was so funny because he's asking these people yeah, do you like music? Do you like Chance the Rapper? And they're yeah, I love him.
The best part was when he was trying to act like he was trying to freestyle rap and he couldn't rap.
Oh my God.
And the one girl was like, you got it? Just keep going. She had no idea.
No, they had no idea.
A couple
I
other
the
guys.
old woman.
Yeah, she was
The
cool.
older woman was so funny. She's yeah, I love Chance the Rapper. I get down. I was dying. It was so funny.
The one guy at first kind of knew. He looked back wait a minute. Do you know who you are? And he was trying to play stupid.
Right.
Yeah, I think it was cool. So check it out. It was all over the Chicago Tribune.
Yeah, and we shared it too from Facebook. Yes. But I mean, Chance the Rapper, just overall good guy. Obviously for change for Chicago, and so I feel this backing for the mayoral race is going to be a big deal.
Big deal. Very important for Chicago. So we can't stress enough. Make sure you get out and vote. And actually do your research on all these candidates. Just because Chance says that's a great candidate may not be so for you.
Right.
So we're not endorsing anyone as of yet right now. But make sure you do your own research and come up with the best decision for you, and at least vote for someone. Yeah. That's all that matters.
Because it would suck if we all got punked.
Right?
Everyone just went and voted for who Chance was voting for, and then all of a sudden this woman's crazy.
Exactly. Not to say that Chance is going to make the wrong choice, but you just never really know. You know what I mean? People can flip the script once they get into the office too. So just do your research. Make sure you know who and what you're voting for.
Absolutely. Hey, I'll tell you what's a great choice. Shopping with Posh by Amani, women's apparel boutique based out of Houston. One of our great sponsors of the next segment, and also one of our really good friends, really active with us on Twitter and hanging out. Really, really awesome woman. She founded this company on faith, love, and the right to stand out for quality, affordable, chic apparel, serving women one curve at a time. So check her out. She's got free shipping right now until the end of the year, plus a new location. It's poshbyamani.com. Also on social media, Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter, Posh by Amani. Shout out to her. Seriously cool lady, and we love her, so check her out.
Yes, sir. Now, getting in our favorite quick kick segment, we got some good ones this week, and I'm sure you might have missed it, the start of the NBA season last night. I love it.
Why do you always just assume that I missed things?
Because I will say this. For some things that I claimed you missed, you end up seeing it somehow. And I'm like, how the hell do you do this? Like, I thought I'm a busy person. Kate's even more busy than I am.
I am busy,
Fans
but I watch
of the
basketball.
show. You find a way to listen and hear everything, even when I think you don't, so...
I'm like flipping my hair right now.
I know, right?
Thank you.
So whenever I'm wrong, just tell me, hey, just shut up.
I do tell you.
Like,
anyway.
dude, just shut up. Anyway, so NBA regular season started last night. Golden State beat Oklahoma City in a close game.
Yes.
Boston Celtics with Kyrie Irving back, Gordon Hayward back, destroyed Philadelphia. NBA season started. I'm so hyped for this. So what we're going to do right now, we're going to give our official NBA Finals and NBA champion predictions on Alternative Fact Chicago. Kate, who you got?
Well, I already said this in the preseason, and I'm standing strong. It's going to be Golden State and Boston, and I'm taking Golden State right now. That's my prediction.
Boom.
I have a couple other predictions, though. Can I share them with you?
Absolutely.
Okay, I'm going to say Jimmy Butler's going to be traded before Christmas, and I think that the Nets are going to make the playoffs this year.
The Brooklyn Nets?
Yeah.
How?
They're looking good.
Based off of what?
Based off the whole week this week.
What?
Those are my predictions.
So Brooklyn Nets.
Yep,
okay.
they're going to make the playoffs.
I do like their point guard, Russell.
Yes.
They have Karis LeVert, who's to play for Michigan. So I will say that I think they're still a year or two away, but that's a bold prediction.
Yep, I'm
that
going with it.
I will let you have.
You heard it here first.
Episode 63, Kate saying that the Brooklyn Nets are making the play. I can't wait till like January, March, and they're in last place. I'm like, oh, so how's that prediction coming?
But that's okay, because my winners of the Golden State's still going to be there. So
okay.
It's fine.
So I think it's pretty self-explanatory. I mean, Golden State and Boston are the two clear-cut best teams here this season. So obviously I would love for the Lakers to make the championship. I love that LeBron's in LA. It's just dope that LeBron's in LA. It's like that's fire. It's the LA Lakers, the best franchise in basketball, and LeBron James, the best player. If it fits. It's a cool story. Okay. But I think the Lakers are a year away. Golden State will make the championship again against Boston. But you know what? I'm going to switch up on you, and I'm going Boston.
Oh.
In not 7 games. They're going to win in 6 games at home. They're not going to have home field advantage, but they're going to win game 6 at home because I think Golden State's run is over. I'm picking Boston in 6 games over Golden State.
Sounds good.
So we got a friendly little bet. We'll have to make a set a wager on that at some point in time. I'm going Boston. You're going Golden State.
Yep.
Absolutely. I cannot believe you picked the Brooklyn Nets.
They're going to the playoffs.
I could have seen you said the Detroit Pistons or something like that.
Nah.
The Pistons
going the Nets. Nets are
going
going
to
to
make the playoffs. No Bulls, no Chicago Bulls in the playoffs.
No, I don't think so. Well, I go back and forth. I don't know.
I think
I'm hard on the Bulls. I know I am. So
they're pretty young though, so we'll see.
We'll see what happens. Yeah.
Awesome.
They look better this year, but we'll see.
Definitely.
Yeah. So some interesting news, if you missed it, Mary Bono, just the interim USA Gymnastics chief. What is her position? Chief of...
It's like chief president of like USA Gymnastics.
The woman boss of USA Gymnastics just actually resigned after 4 days. 4 whole days at this position resigned. And if you're not living under a rock and you've seen USA Gymnastics just been in the media a ton recently because of that whole sexual abuse allegation. So what do you think this means for the future of gymnastics?
I'm very nervous because my daughter is an amazing gymnast. She loves it. She's like in a very competitive league in her 8-year-olds. You know what I mean? So I feel like one day if she keeps along that path, she could definitely be in place to be working with some of these like top, coaches in gymnastics. And the whole program right now is just a mess. So overall, I think they picked the wrong person having Mary Bono there, because obviously she had close ties and association with the law firms at Fager, Baker Daniels, which advised U.S. Gymnastics during the Larry Nassar sexual abuse scandal. So just the fact that she was even associated with them, like she was not the right choice. Basically just got a lot of bad press, bad publicity, and I think she like even covered up a Nike logo on one of her golf shoes as well too. So just doing things that were just against the norm of what, if you want to have USA Gymnastics clean up everything, she was clearly not the right choice. So and it sounds like that's the second person that's resigned in the last like few months. So right now USA Gymnastics is a big mess.
Yeah, I'm just going to say this was an absolute rush decision. Obviously, the person that was formerly in this position resigned. Bono is a pretty influential person in the community, especially gymnastics community. She has a strong background in gymnastics, and she's a woman. And so I feel like that's why they put her in there. I feel like hands down they put her in there because she was a woman and she knew gymnastics, and they were like, this will calm everyone for the moment. And she was absolutely the wrong candidate for the job. Not only was she part of the organization that backed Nassar in this whole sexual abuse scandal, and like the law firm that was helping to like cover it up for all these years. But like you said, she's not remorseful for that at all. She says very, very pertinently that she's strong and proud of the work that she's done. And then that whole thing with the Nike, she posted a picture and like covered up the Nike symbol, and her response to that was like, Kaepernick kneels for the flag and protests in his way, and this is what I do. I'm like, you are USA Gymnastics.
Right.
You are USA Gymnastics. Not only are you representing our country, but as it's been very, very obvious right now in the recent news, you're representing a bunch of girls that have had no voice for the past 20 plus years. Absolutely no voice, absolutely no identity after or outside of gymnastics, and absolutely no chance to be able to speak up for themselves. And you had one job, and that was to help them and to protect them. And 4 days in, basically you couldn't handle the backlash, and so you resigned. And she basically said it was because people were like bullying her. Like that's literally what she said. Like people were just not giving her respect, and so she turned in her resignation, and it's because of personal attacks, and she left undefended. It's just like, come on. I did really like that Allie Reisman, she's been influential in this whole movement too, and really vocal about everything. And I like that she tweeted her and was like, listen, it's not personal, we just need somebody who's disconnected from those influences. And so they're standing their ground and saying like, thank God you resigned, we didn't want you here anyway, and we need to find somebody who like believes in us and will stand up for us.
M. Rand, that was awesome. You tell him, Kate.
I will.
That was awesome. No, you nailed it. Spot on.
Thank you.
They just need someone, like I said, someone completely outside the box.
Yeah.
Someone unrelated.
And I think this is the issue we're going to continue to have with this Me Too movement and all these sexual allegations, is that they put a woman in to like suffice, to like appease everybody. Like, oh, okay, you didn't like that guy, well, here's a girl. And it's like, not all girls have great intentions either. And so maybe we should be doing more research.
You tell them. Yeah, no, I think they definitely should. That was a quick choice. So to lose 2 presidents in a matter of weeks, it's bad. So I mean, they should take their time with the next one.
I agree.
Absolutely.
Maybe it should be your daughter.
Yeah, in the future. Yeah, absolutely.
She's got it.
She needs to be on Team USA Gymnastics, though, in the future. It's going to happen, so be on the lookout. Jalen Hunter is her name. Just be on the lookout.
All right, staying with sports, but moving over to Aaron Rodgers. Is he the best quarterback of all time?
He is the greatest quarterback I've ever seen play the game in terms of pure talent and just playing football and comebacks. And I don't know what he does, but game after game, if you give him the ball with like a minute to play, I don't care if he's on the 1 yard line, like going 99 yards, he'll find a way to score. He did it again against San Francisco this past week. He did it to Chicago Bears. He's done it to my Lions countless times in the past. There's just something about him. Like he's just an amazing player. Like in terms of like being the pure best, obviously that's Tom Brady. He's the GOAT of quarterbacks, the GOAT of the NFL. He has the most Super Bowls. He just is Tom Brady. But in terms of like the best pure talent player, like just plays football as quarterback, by far it is Aaron Rodgers.
Wait, but you just said Brady's the best.
So it's kind of
make your decision.
No, so
you
listen, it's you gotta how I'm explaining it here. I'll try not
trash.
to confuse. Try not to confuse you. Tom Brady is like the best quarterback in terms of winning, like team player. Just when you think of a football player and like leading a team to victory, that's Tom Brady. Like he's the best quarterback of all time in that regard. But in terms of pure talent as a quarterback, like if you wanted to win one game just with one just talented quarterback, I'm gonna pick Aaron Rodgers.
You get to pick one.
I'm going Tom Brady all day. But
okay, well, I'm going to disagree.
Aaron Rodgers is still the most talented quarterback.
I'm going to absolutely disagree because I think you can only pick one. And I think that Aaron Rodgers is the best quarterback of all time. I don't think there's any quarterback in history, including Tom Brady, who can touch him on accuracy, ability to throw the ball, movement, any of that. Just absolutely throwing the ball from the pocket. There's nobody that can touch him. Brady has rings to back him up. Don't get me wrong, he's a fantastic leader. But the only time that they've ever seen each other in a regular season game in 2014, Rodgers led the Packers to a 26-21 victory over the Patriots, and that was at Lambeau. And I just feel like he's better, all around better. I think Brady has the clout and has the team to back him up, but I think Rodgers is absolutely the best quarterback of all time, hands down. He does what no other quarterback can do.
I think if he won more Super Bowls, people would think that. But he is the most talented. I will give you that.
You only get one choice.
But you can be the most. So it's a different. You can be the most talented, but not like the best overall quarterback, which is Tom Brady. But if I want one game, one quarterback, one player, guys will know if when they hear this conversation, they're gonna be able to relate to what I'm saying.
Nah.
Tom Brady's the
Why
best.
guys? Why can't a girl
Because
relate?
you're not getting what I'm saying. But
Maybe you're just confusing.
No, I think people let me know if I'm confusing or not.
Yes, please
All right.
tell him.
Aaron Rodgers is the most talented. Tom Brady's the best.
Aaron Rodgers.
Okay.
All day.
Me and her are gonna fight, guys. But I love it. It's awesome. She's so cool. Roseanne, switching gears. I don't know if we're going from Aaron Rodgers to Roseanne, but if Roseanne, obviously, she's not on the show, but they did the remake or the new spinoff, The Connors. It premiered on Tuesday nights. Are you interested in any way, shape, or form?
Okay, I am actually slightly interested in this because of the way they set it up. So if you watched the Roseanne spinoff, it was actually really funny. Were you a fan of the show at all? Did you ever watch it?
Kind of like off and on over the years.
Yeah, so I used to watch it like Nick at Night. That's like when I would catch it. But Roseanne Barr is actually hysterical. If you've ever caught her stand up, my dad like exposed me to this at like a young age. She's really, really funny, and she's like a feminist, and so she talks a lot about like feminist issues like even before it was all in the spotlight, and she's really funny, and she's just like a normal funny girl, like woman, sorry, she's just really funny. So I thought the spinoff was really interesting, the first Roseanne spinoff, and how they brought the same issues that she was having back in the 80s to like normal days, and obviously it was very liberal in its execution because she comes from like a low income family. So it was really funny. It was really witty and like well crafted. And then she just went and messed everything up by being on Ambien or whatever and tweeting and just being crazy. And so I think that in the long run, what really happened is there were a lot of people that were counting on this show to bring their careers back, to obviously make money, pay some bills, nothing against that. And she kind of ruined it for everybody. She got the show canceled overnight. So I think that is a very interesting aspect that they brought it back. And if you read the article or checked out the show, they killed her character off by an opioid overdose. So I think that is like a low blow, but I don't even think that if she knows that happened, that she even could say anything about it. No, like she absolutely is sitting there like, damn, they got me.
Right.
That's
especially
hilarious.
With the Ambien thing,
right?
Opioid, I think it was a great way to write her off the show.
Yeah, absolutely. But Roseanne's the best part of that show, so I don't really know how they're going to do without her.
That's what I was thinking. It's like, am I interested in this? Probably not.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll probably watch once just to see like what the difference is. But from what I didn't see last night episode, but kind of the reviews and all that, it's kind of the same model of the show. Like the first episode, they're kind of just obviously explaining like how she died, this and that and the other. So it'll kind of be the same model just without her. Mm-hmm. But I did read that the ratings are 35% down from the original Roseanne remake that came out, a few months ago. So obviously her not being there took a little bit of a hit. Overall, I'm going to say it's a no for me. Not too much interested, but it sounds like you may watch it. So you have to let me know how the show's going. I'm
probably going to watch like one or two, but honestly, if Roseanne's not, I'm going to watch one or two to compare. But like if Roseanne's not there, it's just not going to be funny.
Yeah, I think it may make it a season or two, but yeah. I will say they're bringing sitcoms back overall. Like every CBS, ABC, NBC are bringing sitcoms back. I kind of like it.
Oh, cool.
Taking me back to my kid days.
Oh, good.
Absolutely.
All right,
What else you
moving
got?
on to some college football. All-American defensive end Nick Bosa of OSU decides not to come back from injury to the team because he's waiting for the NFL draft. What do you think? Is this the right call?
No, I don't think it was the right call because I think he's leaving his team high and dry. I think obviously he's going to make a lot of money in the NFL. No way, shape, or form.
Right.
No doubt about it. He's still a young kid. Like, say, for example, he came back and got hurt again. He'll probably even still be okay. But I think right now they have a real chance to actually win a national title. This is the best Ohio State team I've seen them have in some years.
Yeah.
They're probably the only team that can even come close or compare to Alabama right now. And not having him right now is a huge – that's someone that's like one of the best players in the country. They're going to be missing that aspect. So I think he's really leaving his team high and dry. So I would think he should come back. He's still going to be drafted first round, whatever. I'm not sure where he's predicted. I think he may be like top 10 prediction as of right now. So
Yeah, he
I
is.
totally get it, but it's a team. It's your family. It's coming around. It's college. You're never going to ever have this opportunity again and win a national title. And I think you're just giving it up right now. I think maybe it's just a little bit of bad advice, but hey, if you're going to make you millions of dollars, who am I to knock it? But I would have said come back and support your team. What do you think?
I totally disagree. I think that in the olden days and where college football started, the point was to get to the NFL and get the more experience that you needed and work with more people and be able to get more recognition so you could obviously go pro. And we've lost touch of that and we've turned it into its own money mongrel. And if he doesn't need it, then he doesn't need it. Right now, the most important thing is that he's going to stay healthy. Because like you said, he's going to get drafted. He's going to go work on school, hopefully, or getting better and training, and then he's going to come back in 2019 and he's going to get drafted, and he doesn't really have to worry about that. So instead of him taking this 12-week recuperation, coming back in December, basically be throwing back in, I think that them even thinking that he would do that is basically just asking the most of him right now. Like, he needs to stay healthy, both physically and mentally. He needs to be focusing on other things if he's going to go into the pro. And let's be honest, the point of his life, he didn't sit back as a kid and be like, I really hope I play for Urban Meyer one day and I'm from Ohio State. Like, that's not. He wanted to be a football player in the NFL, and that's what his goal is. And I think he's like hyper focused on that right now, getting better, going to the NFL and playing. And I think going back to college ball would just be a mistake and leave him vulnerable for injury again.
True. I hope he just doesn't regret it. Like, say if for some reason they do win a national title, like he's not out there with his team, you know.
Right.
You may look back on it 10 years from now. I'm like, dang, I really kind of missed out on an opportunity. So tough call when you got $1 million on the line. So
Right.
I guess I get it, but I would have came back and you say,
Nope.
screw it,
Nope.
get the money. I feel that. That.
Always about the money.
All about the money. Moving on to some music. So the BET Hip Hop Awards were on last night. I got a chance to see, not the whole show, but I saw quite a few of the ciphers. That's like the only reason I like to watch the BET Hip Hop Awards at this point in 2018. But one of our own, Chicago's own, Vic Mensa, he's been in the media a lot lately. And it seems like for all the wrong reasons. Like, he's always just saying or doing just controversial things. And I wish it was just about the music for him. But in this way, this music came to initially bite him in the ass. So basically what he said, obviously XXXTentacion, he was murdered this past year in Miami a little bit earlier this year. It's been all over the news, but he's actually been in some like potential like rape cases and things like that, which have soon been dropped, like abuse cases that have been dropped as well too. But in the rap, just for those that have missed it or didn't hear it, Vic Mensa did say, only time you bear arms than a wife beater loser. Your favorite rapper is a domestic abuser, talking about X. X, we all know you won't live that long. I don't respect XXS posthumously or something like that. So obviously he didn't know that XXS's mom was actually going to be in attendance at the BT Hip Hop Awards. They recorded the ciphers weeks ago. So X was already dead when he actually came out with this line. So not necessarily sure why Vic Mensa actually still said it, but did he go too far with his comments? And if someone passes, should they ever be mentioned in a song or for any other reason?
Yeah, I think he went way too far. I don't think him not knowing that X's mom was in the audience is even an excuse. I mean, it's just it's just so completely disrespectful. Like, could you imagine anybody like writing rude lyrics about like Whitney Houston right now? Like, granted the situations are completely different, but X has been around way less time, and I'm not saying he's not a scumbag, and I'm not saying he didn't do the things that they said he did, but what was the purpose of bringing it up right now in the most absolutely disrespectful way just to put your name in the media? I mean, that's just crappy. It's absolutely crappy. You made a bunch of people feel absolutely uncomfortable and disrespected. I mean, not only was mom there, and maybe you didn't know, but like he had friends there. He had friends in his community, in the hip hop community, and friends at that event, and that's just uncalled for. Like, leave him alone.
Yeah, he went way too far. I think Vic Mensa is just doing way too many things to hurt his career, to where other artists, his people in the industry, fans are backing off of him. You know, record sales haven't been going that well. I think right now he just needs to really sit down and kind of really think of like who he wants to be as an artist. Like, do you want to beef with people? Do you want to be, you know, fight crime, fight politics? He's all over the place, and I'm rooting for him since, you know, he is local, he is Chicago, he's from the South Side. We want him to do well, but if he ever hears this episode, I'm sure he's got this, you know, opinion from other people and people that have sat him down. Like, you really need to figure out who you want to be as an artist and to stop saying things like this. Like, this is not going to help your career. Just getting attention for the worst reasons is not going to help. And I know he dropped a new song today, you know, to kind of defend and talk about what happened. I haven't heard it yet, but I feel like he does these things just to like drop new music to get publicity, and I don't think it's a good method. I don't think it's going to work.
Yeah, I mean, he tried to like, you know, support his actions by saying like, I could just never support somebody who does the things that X did. But it's like, you could have made this political statement in a lot of other ways without disrespecting a dead person. Like, you could literally have done anything else. Donate some money to the Me Too movement. Like, you could have done anything, and instead you just called out one dead person who allegedly abused someone, or you know abused women in front of all of his hip hop peers. I mean, come on, like, do something else. Write a blog. Like, do something better.
He's got to chill out.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. All right, moving on to some more sports, something I don't know anything about. Floyd Mayweather back from retirement, apparently, for this Khabib boxing match. Do you have any interest in this?
So it hasn't been signed yet, and I wasn't going to even put this on the top, because you should have been like, it's kind of worthless. But it hasn't been signed yet. The only reason they're even considering it is obviously because Khabib just beat Conor McGregor,
right?
Obviously in UFC. Floyd Mayweather beat Conor McGregor in boxing, and obviously Floyd Mayweather said he can get almost 9 figures for a fight like this.
Right.
I don't want to see it. Doesn't matter. You know, when he faced McGregor, he beat McGregor fairly easy. Khabib's also not a boxer. I don't think it's worth anyone's time to see it. Obviously, he'll do great in the ratings, pay-per-view buys, just because it's 2 big names. But no, Floyd Mayweather needs to just chill out. The bigger question to me is, why does he need to keep coming out of retirement to box, even though you're making a lot of money? He shouldn't need a dime for the rest of his life for what he's made in boxing. So the bigger thing is something leads me to think like something's off, to where maybe he doesn't have as much money as he thinks, or he just keeps spending it. Because why do you need to keep coming out of retirement for silly fights like this? Yes, it's easy money, but why waste your time?
Yeah, I mean, I just wonder if it was all like a ploy, like if everything for his retirement was just a ploy, like if he knew this was going to happen, he's just going to keep coming back. Oh, someone else is gonna pop up that I should fight, and then I'm gonna come back from retirement. Oh, someone else is here, and I'm gonna come back from retirement. It's like, I don't know. I mean, I don't really care about boxing regardless. I just feel like people spend a lot of money on this, and that's what it's for. But I mean, it all just feels like a publicity stunt to me.
Absolutely. People buy it. People fall for it. They'll enjoy the show. But I want to see some, you know, being a boxing man, I want to see like 2 real boxers go at it, not boxing UFC. I think I'm okay on that.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So
it's just too gory. I don't like any of it.
You don't like people getting their faces bashed in?
Heck no.
So you don't like UFC either?
I don't like any of the fighting, no.
What about WWE?
No. You already know that that's a no.
It's fake fighting.
It's even worse.
So
it's even worse.
Next year, WrestleMania.
I'm not watching any fake sports.
You're going to watch WrestleMania.
I'm not going to watch WrestleMania.
It's so much fun. We'll go to a live event
We're not going to do that.
Why?
Speaking of clowns, wrestlers, and who you got for Clown of the Week?
All right, so before we kick this off, I'm going to do my Clown of the Week first, because before we kind of go over the show rundown, Kate would not tell me her Clown of the Week.
Why?
Like, she
refused.
Refused. So it leads me to believe that it might be about me, fans. So we're going to stay tuned here, but I'll give my Clown of the Week, because I can't wait to get into hers. It better be good. But my Clown of the Week is the story that's been going on in St. Louis that went viral, that blew up. It actually was a lady. Her name's Hillary Thornton. She is my Clown of the Week this week. So she actually lived in a condo building. I think it was called like Elder Shirt Lofts. And there was a black man that was trying to get inside the building. Apparently she was going out to walk her dog, so she left left the door propped open. He obviously came in through the prop door. She didn't know who it was, so she started questioning him. He recorded the entire scenario. Basically, like, she was asking her where you are, who you from, you don't live here. They have a key fob, I guess, to get you in the building and to your apartment. She kept asking to see it, and of course, obviously, he didn't show it because he felt like he didn't need to. He actually held himself with a lot of composure throughout the entire time. She just really wasn't having it, and the crazy part of why she's getting the con of the week was how she handled the situation. She was basically went on and she's defending herself. She went on interviews because she has gotten fired from her job. Thank God, she should have. Basically saying that they've been trained for the building, that if you don't know people or know someone in the building, you're supposed to ask them, who are you? I've never seen you before. Do you live here? This and that and the other. First of all, where she went wrong, she propped the door open. I'm sure that's against rules of the building, of the condo association, to leave the door propped open. 2, there's cameras. So if there's someone in the building that you may not have known, cameras are going to find him. They're going to figure it out. He's not going to be able to get anywhere anyway. And the last part where she really went wrong was like going up to his apartment, trying not to let him go in there. And then obviously when he used the key fob to get in his apartment, then she was nice and say, we need to meet each other and try to, introduce herself, this and that and the other. It was wrong. It was a backhand way of being racist. There's another story going around that I saw on Twitter today of a very similar situation. I'm just not sure what's going on to where certain people feel like they can look down on others or feel that certain people shouldn't or can't be living in these certain areas because of how they look or the color of their skin. Newsflash, certain people have money no matter what they do, no matter what race they are. So we should be respected as such. And just please, people, mind your business. If that guy would have went off on you, Hillary, something bad could have happened. It could have been a worse situation. You should have standing down. Unfortunately, you're going to lose your job. And also, unfortunately, you are getting the con of the week. But it's a crazy story. Look her up. Her name's Hillary Thornton. It's gone viral. It's a crazy, crazy story. And she's probably having a rough week right now.
Yeah, I saw that.
Crazy, right? Would you do that to somebody?
No, absolutely not.
No, I'm kidding.
Yeah.
Well, I'm ready for this one. Who is your con of the week?
It's not even that interesting. I just didn't want to tell you. Like, jeez. So my con of the week is this company called Freedom United Clothing. They have this lawsuit going against Rihanna right now. So if you've seen, Rihanna teamed up with Puma and made her own clothing line out of Fenty, which is her makeup line. So it's called Fenty University. And of course, they're plastering FU across everything. So it's Fenty University. And so Freedom Clothing Line apparently has this logo also FU. And so now they're suing her because they said they've been around since 2006. So it's really interesting because the pictures that they're using on their cease and desist are like completely different. I don't know if you saw this, but like their hoodie is like just an FU, and then Rihanna's looks more like the like collegiate lettering, like with the periods in between, and it says like Fenty University, and they're saying that it's super similar. And so according to this lawsuit, the company claims that Riri knew that there was an existing FU logo because apparently she was photographed in one of their hoodies back in 2014, and even before that, Chris Brown attended a Freedom United launch party in 2007. So they're saying that this with Puma is like making her a lawbreaker. Obviously, they're going to sue her for some money. And they even went on their website, on Puma's website, and they refer to her as like somebody who's likely to break the rules. So it's just really interesting how they're just absolutely mad at her for this. I mean, it's 2 letters. It's FU. It stands for Fenty University. I mean, I guess there's like similarities, but to me, the logos are completely different. And I think they're just doing it for money right now and trying to sue Riri because she's doing really good and she's out there, and you can't trademark FU. Like, I don't like FU. I don't.
That's weird.
Yeah, it's super weird. So they're my clown of the week. I think they're just trying to like feed off her money and her influence right now because obviously nobody's ever heard of them, and yeah, they're giving her the big FU.
Awesome. Can't believe you wouldn't tell me that. That's a good one.
I know.
Speaking of Chris Brown, you mentioned him. Did you know Drake and Chris Brown made up?
I didn't.
Yeah, so in Staples Center in L.A., Drake obviously had his tour. He brought Chris Brown out for a couple songs. They finally made up after all these years. Drake made up with Meek Mill. So Drake's like trying to go on his like reunion tour.
Is Pusha T next?
In like maybe another 3 to 5 years, he'll bring Pusha T out for a performance somewhere too.
Yeah.
This is a great episode. It was a lot of fun.
It was okay.
It was okay.
It was great.
Kate's so sarcastic. I thought I was sarcastic, but she's a lot worse.
No.
Awesome. That was a lot of fun. Thanks. Shout out
better.
to Justin Devin from Backus Entertainment. Make sure you check them out on November 17th. Alternative Fact Chicago. We will be there for sure. Definitely not missing that one. Since drinks, party in a bar crawl.
Pancakes. What?
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 You got a flannel?
Brunch and flannel?
You gotta
Heck
get a
yeah, I got a
flannel.
flannel.
I think I got one still. I haven't worn a flannel in a minute, but That used to be the thing. So
flannel for days.
So shout out to 247liveculture.com. They have our episode on their platform as well too. And I think that's all I got. It's been a good episode. We're almost back to 65 episodes. We are going to have another guest next week. It's going to be our last one for a little bit, and then we'll get back to just, Kate and I. But I won't announce it yet, but it's actually a great guest for the city of Chicago. They're doing a lot of positive things from Good Kids, Mad City. So we'll make sure to check them out. That's on episode 64. Anything else you got before we get out of here?
No, I'm ready to go.
Yes, it's late. It's been a long day, so we appreciate you all. We love you. This has been episode 63. Thanks for making us the #1 podcast in the city, and we'll be back next week. This is Be Home with Kate.
Bye.
Bye.